Has inaugurated the board of directors of the National Credit Guarantee Company Limited, a strategic institution designed to enhance access to affordable financing for micro, small and medium enterprises across the country. The inauguration ceremony was held at the presidential villa in Abuja last week, according to the statement by Mr. Stanley Nwocha, Senior Special Assistant to the Vice President of Media and Communications. Vice President Kashim Shettima presided over the event, describing the NCGC as a critical engine in the pursuit of economic inclusion and sustainable growth. The Vice President Shettima noted that the establishment of the NCGC reflects the federal government's determination to bridge the long-standing financial gap faced by small businesses.
Answer to the cries of entrepreneurs shackled by the closed doors of traditional finance systems. This is why your role as members of this board becomes vital. You are expected to chart a course that combines prudence with courage, accountability with ambition. We look to you to translate policy into practice and vision into value.
Mr. President has envisioned this policy as a way of intervening in an economic space that was dominated by just the privileged few. So it's decided to democratize this field of access to credit, access to finance for micro, small, medium-scale enterprises in Nigeria.
Our country has a huge young population. They are very restless and they need to be able to express themselves in their innovative spirit. Despite this, they lack adequate collateral. And as a result of that, our financial institutions are not willing to provide them with finance. That is where we are coming in to fill the gap.
My guest is Dr. Femi Oladele. He's the lead coach, more by Meristem. It's good to have you in. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's good to be here again.
Thank you so much. Well, I think it's really a good one hearing that our government finally, match words with action. That's coming up with this guarantee credit scheme. What do you make of it generally as instituted by government?
Strategically, I would say that this is a very, very great idea that has become a reality in our country, because you recall also, even during the campaigns, many of the contestants mentioned that we cannot continue to sustain Nigeria based on cash, because we don't have that significant cash flow and we need credit. Although there are religious and social dimensions to that credit, but generally, economically speaking, we understand that the economy needs credit, but we have very limited access to credit. And so I would believe that this strategic initiative would definitely propel the Nigerian economy to where it ought to be with respect to credit. I just pray that we don't misuse it.
Talking about misusing it, what do you think is the actual way to go about implementing these actions of the committee?
So from what I have seen, with respect to the human resource, great people in the board, and concerning the other partner organizations, the BOI, the Development Bank of Nigeria, I see that that place is very well covered. And I also believe that since they are interfacing, because that's one misconception that people have with respect to the credit corp as different from the NCGC, is that they're looking at lenders and they're looking at guys who can then help financial institutions and other support groups to support MSMEs. And so I believe that with respect to policy and human resource, that's very, very well covered. About the misuse, operationally, we understand that in Nigeria, things can be conceptualized very well, but when it comes to operationalizing it, then we can have issues. So I would give an example of the passport. Strategically, our passport issuance process is awesome, but we also know that operationally, sometimes there are some hiccups here and there. So I believe that that's where focus should be on. Yes, Dogara can want to do a good job. Mr. Bonaventure might want to do a good job, but the operational guys that do the day-to-day
runnings,
yes, we have to ensure that they project the ideals of the NCGC, or else we will just see that on paper things look good, But unfortunately, operationally, people begin to complain. And you know that traditionally, Nigerians have issues with credit. And so when you remember the Bomuli Lantern and all of that, and then we bring this out, although they're not interfacing with individuals directly, but there is a traditional bias already. And if we miss it operationally, then things can go south.
Because some might think that something, when it comes from government, something is just freebies,
Free
and
money.
yes, and they just want to get to go with it. What sort of requirements now? Because many will ask that what sort of requirements you think will be necessary? Because if you don't have a bankable project or a project that obviously you know you can make money from, I don't think you should be investing in those kind of projects. So I'm thinking that what sort of policies do you think need to be in place? You have an experience with dealing with MSMEs. You know, what sort of policies do you think would really work in tandem with what this NCGC is set out to achieve?
So traditionally, you know, I had mentioned the issue of credit in Nigeria.
Yes,
so with respect to policy, I believe that we should be hammering on collaboration significantly. We have NASME, we have ASBON, we have SMIDAN, we have ecosystem players across the country with respect to capacity building, even Faith Foundation, for example, the LSETF, and we have all of those bodies. But if we are not able to harmonize their gains, then we might be shortchanging ourselves. So policy-wise, should hammer more on collaboration. And I must say that the NCGC would not give individuals credit. They're only going to provide guarantees to financial institutions that now would have the comfort to give those credits. So it's not like I can go to the NCGC and say, give me 5 million, no. But they're going to be supporting organizations who have very low risk appetite for especially young people, women, and underserved businesses to now say we would guarantee to this extent. I don't know what extent yet. And then those ones would now have comfort to say, okay, we can then give loans to MSMEs. So it's not, and I like that it's not a direct interface with the businesses. It's going to be, but you know, also there can be a bureaucratic drag with respect to interfacing with a financial institution, then getting the guarantee from the NCGC. But I believe that the way it is currently structured, and I had mentioned the people that I've seen on the board, I believe that things should go well.
I'll take you back again to this administration's, one of the cardinal points of it, or focus of the administration, is to, of course, leverage on small businesses for them to, you know, what do you think of the likes of BOIs that we've had before now? And I always like to ask that question. Even the central bank at the time, we had funds for women, we had funds for youth, we had funds for all of that. But I don't think Cardoso-led CBN is looking that way at this time. So, but what we even used to have before now, how well have entrepreneurs, small businesses, were they able to harness these funds?
Yes, I believe that I cannot say that directly.
Yes, I get you.
But you understand
feel
that.
As you're getting.
Okay, so
yes.
You understand that when you throw bread into the waters, not all would get eaten up by fishes, some would get taken away. And so we understand that also politically, that there would be political dimensions. And that's why I'm hoping that the board will do a great job of minimizing political interference, especially with respect to what they do. But we also understand that if they are going to get their job done, they have to put their house together. And I would go back to what I mentioned about the operational processes. Their processes have to be watertight and ensure that people see transparency in what they do. With respect to BOI, the DBN, and all of the other anchor borrowers program and all of that, definitely some people made money from it, and some people's businesses are sustained today because of those initiatives. I believe that what this administration is doing by bringing the NCGC is to overlap a bureaucratic process. Because I'm just wondering, we have all of these financial organizations, many even with international connections, and their funds available to MSMEs, but we see that they're bringing the credit. And so I believe that it's a way to go over a bureaucratic obstacle that they have done this. And when I was preparing for this, I said something in my mind that by this, we are raising wings with strings. Wings with strings in the sense that when you empower those businesses, you still have them to return back to you, to give you in taxes, reduce unemployment figures, increase GDP. So the government is not giving money out just like that. But even as they are empowering MSMEs, they are receiving the returns, and it also helps them at the end of the day to do their job better.
But you will also agree with me that many will say it's not only funding. Or before I go to that next question, there's also an expectation that some of these businesses should have a short turnaround times, low collateral requirements, and tailored financial products. You know, these are also some very important points to note around this. You want to say something around that?
Yes, so I believe that I don't want us to oversimplify the issues with respect to business. Businesses are different. I had a class recently, and I mentioned that some people can start a business. There are some businesses you can start today, and by tomorrow you're already profiting. Some businesses will take 2 to 3 years. And so if we now give those conditions and oversimplify those conditions, I believe that some people, there will be too much of exclusion and inclusion error. Those who don't deserve it might get it. Those who deserve it might not get it. And the idea is to limit. One of this is the NCGC. I hope that the July dates would not move, and so they kickstart the processes. But I give this example when I explain the hits that Nigerian businesses are facing. Just imagine that you turn on your shower in the morning in a very cold region, and what comes out is cold water. After a while, it becomes warm, then it becomes too hot, and then if you regulate it again, it becomes warmer. So that's the situation that many Nigerian businesses have been to. We have been used to a process that is fairly stable, and then the heat got turned up by COVID, and then we kept still dancing in the bathroom, and then a little bit of comfort after COVID, and with all of the palliatives that came, then we had the new administration, and things turned up again to hot. Now it's getting cold, but I wouldn't say that cold in the sense of comfort, because many businesses are passing through a lot, and it's difficult to underplay what they are passing through, especially with respect to logistics. Power alone has even drove many other businesses out of business. We have logistics, we have access to internet to power their businesses, especially those that are heavily reliant on technology. And technology, I've always said, is not cheap. So the heat is still there, but I believe that things can turn around with the initiatives that are being implemented if they are properly implemented. I'm seriously looking forward to the NCGC and see the kind of businesses that they want to power in the first quarter of operations, which is now this from July to maybe September. I'm looking forward to that. And I believe that if operationally they get it right, I totally believe that businesses would enjoy, and then it will have ripple effect on the economy. So before the end of the year, we would be seeing more trust building in that sector, because now many people are skeptical about that, but there will be significant surge in trust, and I believe that that would also help even foreign investors to come and say, oh, something is happening here. You know, they say that where the carcass is, the vultures will gather.
What about taking advantage of tech, which we used to talk about? Do you think small businesses are also still doing that, you know, after COVID and all of that? And many still think that maybe they've dropped the ball a bit around tech. Do you think so? No, I don't think so. But I just feel that there are significant challenges. Like I said, access to data is now almost 50%. Access to electricity and some other supporting devices, software. When I started using, I think this year, I subscribed to Google One. It was around 300 Naira per month. Now I'm paying 1,900 per month. So, and that's just so anyone who is relying on those kind of services, Microsoft also was way maybe 3,000. I'm paying almost 9,000 now per month. And so when you look at all of those services and businesses that rely on those services, they are really taking a hit. And I must say that Nigerian businesses are
They're struggling.
They are really struggling.
They're struggling.
Dr. Femi Oladele, I must thank you so much. Always interesting having you,
thank you so much
on this show, lead coach, more by Mary Stem. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, we'll take another break. When we come back, we'll be talking markets. Don't go.